Go.
Hello. Welcome back to Chris's Moto Life. You know, we got something. We did the Jaguar last time we saw each other. That was my confessional. And this one's going to be a little different because I don't think it's any corporate secret. I'm more into European vehicles. I'm not really what you would call an American car guy. As a little bit of background, when I was in history, when I was in high school, our family didn't have a lot of money. My father had lost his job, had to sell his BMW 320i, and we were left with a Chevy Vega, powder blue. I hated that car with a passion. It was crap. It was so bad that the clutch cable would flex the firewall when you put the clutch down. So from that point on, I was never gonna ever drive an American car. People tell me that American cars have come a long, long way. What we got behind me is, I think, something that they did do pretty well. It's a 2019 Ford Mustang. People are like, oh, is it a GT with the V8? Well, you know, it's not. What it is it's an inline four turbocharged with 310 horsepower. The thing will get 32 miles to the gallon on the highway. I mean, think about that. 310 horsepower out of a I want to say it's like a 2.3 engine, or I just read up on it and now my mind is slipping up. But that's a lot of power from a little four-cylinder engine. 310, that's like an old F1 car, probably from back in the day. And this you can take to the Wawa to get a hoagie when you want. Wawa is a small convenience store chain here in southeastern Pennsylvania. All right, what do we want to show you on this car? Why don't we show you the interior? This one doesn't have any of the real uppy grades. It's got the standard interior on it, which has a lot in it. I don't know if you can see the pony on the radio in there. I mean, I'm not sure if this one has navigation or not, but I know it's got a lot of trick goodies in there. And I mean, I think this is just a base car with the stripe. It's got Hankook tires on it. And most importantly, yes, it's a shifty. So, we talked a little bit about that, about the engine. Why don't we take a look at it? Finally, the Americans are getting the hint where to put a hood opener. And we just slide down here and slide the handle. And I always want to just let it go. I'm going to smack my knuckles one of these times because I don't think Americans still haven't gotten the concept down yet of hood struts that raise your hood. But there it is. There's your ecoboost engine. That's not a huge, I don't think it's all that big. It's kind of neat though. I mean, I'm kind of intrigued by this car. I mean, it comes with Hankook Ventus tires on it. It's got alloy wheels. It's got nice disc brakes. I mean, it looks like you could, with a few bolt-ons, have a good time with this car. So, speaking of bolt-ons, you know, I mean, the Mustang has had a pretty interesting history. You know, we start back in the mid-'60s with the convertible one. I mean, I think Bill Clinton had one, the president. A lot of collectors really enjoyed those. You get yourself a K-Code, a 289 with a 4-speed, great hopped-up engine, same engine that they used in the AC Cobra 289, which, by the way, the 289 is the real Cobra, because the real Cobras road race. They don't just drag race. Just a little dig at my 427 driving friends. Sorry, guys. But back to the Mustang. So then they went into kind of the malaise era, like the mid-'70s into the '80s. Mid-'70s Mustang 2 was absolute garbage. It was like putting a nice set of clothing on a Pinto. And that's what it was. 78 or 79, we come up with the Fox body Mustang, which I still to this day think is the most fun one. It was built on the Ford, I think it was a Ford Fairmount chassis. They shared the chassis with the Ford Fairmount, the ugliest car ever known to man. Well, no, Americans have built a lot of ugly cars, but that was up there in the running. But it was built, I mean, they built the Mustang on it, and you know, you bolt on it like what, a Rancho suspension kit, put some headers on it. Any 16-year-old kid could become like the next hot rodder. It really brought hot rodding back. Then we left the Fox body Mustang, and I don't even know what you call that 90s one. I call it the boring Mustang because it really, I mean, for a while I thought they only had a 6 in that. And then they went to a 4.6 V8. Whatever happened to the 5.0, 5-liter? You know? And then, remember when these first came out? Like, that is a great idea. I'll bet you Ford is going to sell a lot of them. Well, the first ones had a solid rear axle, so the racers weren't grabbing them. I'm sure that the street racers were having a good time, but not the road racers. Finally, I think like a few years back during the redesign, they came up with an independent rear suspension to make the car at least a little bit more usable, more user-friendly, trackable. Great cars. All in all, I think Ford did a really good job. Spot on, Ford. You actually put your mind to it and you made a really nice car. Now, this particular one is for sale. It's going to be about $25,000. It's only got 2,800 miles on it. This was used in an all-women's road rally to commemorate 2020. I want to say that it was the 100 years of the women's vote. So it just went from like here, we're here in southeastern Pennsylvania. It made its way up to Scranton a few times, home of Dunder Mifflin. And then it went up, I think they toured that area, then they went up to right around Watkins Glen. So the car really just didn't have a lot of miles on it or anything. Beautiful little car. And you know what? It's November in Pennsylvania and it's beautiful out. I'm gonna fire this beast up and take it out. Ah, who was sitting in this car last? When you're as short as me, you gotta slide that seat up. There we are. And let's see if everything's falling right to hand. We'll click in this seatbelt. And we will start it up. And now these really confuse me because I think there is a start button on these. And it's right here. And I guess I have to put the clutch in. It's got a nice little whir, little purr to it. Hey, as always, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to Chris's Moto Life. And I want your following week to be a total positive experience for you. There's a lot of fun to be had out in this life. Go out and get it. Until next time, I'll be out cruising the road. If I don't hit the mirrors on the garage, I think I'm good.